Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another transfer roundup. This is the week commencing the 11th of July. I know it's a bit late, but we've added all the other transfer stories from this week. So we've definitely got a jam-packed episode for you. But before we get any further, let me introduce you to my co-host, Mr. Danny Saldanha. How are you today, man?
I'm good, broski. Spartans actually playing right now, aren't they?
Yeah.
We're shit fans, but no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But got to see them yesterday, which was interesting. I'm gonna catch maybe the highlights of it today, but all is well here. How are you, bro?
Yeah, man. I'm good. I watched the first half and it was okay. A bit of non-sporting news. I've told you about this already, that I played football yesterday and my ankle is absolutely in bits. I think I might have fractured my metatarsal. Just
Jesus.
From what I've researched. So like I have like a lump on my foot where the metatarsal should be, and apparently you can still walk on a fractured metatarsal. But I've been icing it, and the thing is, it was okay before that day, like before I played yesterday. But it did hurt 2 weeks ago when I played. I thought maybe it was just like a sprain or something. So I have to give up football for the foreseeable, But anything to keep it from being broken.
Same here, bro. I just joined the co-ed team. I was having a men's league team at the hangar for those of my fellow Torontonians. And then I decided to join a co-ed team too because I'm starting to get in shape and stuff. I want to get my stamina up. And of course, yesterday, I'm taking it easy. It's whatever. Last play, like one of the last plays of the game, we're up 3-2. I don't know what happened. Like me and a guy, like we collided because we were like fighting for the ball. I don't know if it felt like he Charlie horsed my shin. I'm Googling it. It might be shin splints. I'm worried it might be a fracture. I was supposed to have a game today, but I'm not going today. But we'll see next week. If I have a broken leg next week, just know it's probably a fracture.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I want to get it checked out as well, but the hospitals here at the moment are rammed because COVID is back up, and obviously it's getting to people where, because it's so hot, people are getting other illnesses as well. So it's just, I think I'll just ice it, and then I'll probably not play football because I go on holiday in a few weeks. I'll probably just wait until after then to play football again. But yeah, anyway, that's a bit of a big segue, but we'll move back onto the task at hand. Before we get involved in the stories, please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers, about 300 away. So if you could do that. Also, follow us on TikTok for shortened versions of these podcasts. We've been making a few clips just so if people miss it, they can just view it on TikTok, I guess. So make sure to follow us there if you can't watch all of today's episode. But if you can, great. But cool. Let's get into the sort of main transfer story, which is Trincao. The saga's finally over. He signed for Sporting. Originally, it was supposed to be a loan. A loan with an option to buy. But we have figured out today it's a loan with an obligation to buy. Sporting don't get relegated from the League of Win. So definitely a very difficult task for Sporting. But just some other deals. So it's 3 million loan fee, 7 million option to buy, which takes total to 10 million. Barcelona originally had a buyback clause per season, but now it's fixed at 20 million. So they have a buyback clause on Trincao who does well for 20 million. Sporting pay 50%, got 50% of his pass for 10 million. But yeah, what are your thoughts? We spoke about the player last week, but what are your thoughts on the entire deal? What just tell me how you feel.
Honestly, I can't hate on the deal too much. I think it's a good deal. I'm a little annoyed that it's like progressing buyback clauses. I wish it was just one set one. Like first year, if you want them, it's 20 million. If you want them again, and then it expires maybe after 3 years. If I'm gonna nitpick, but overall, I think it's a good deal. Seeing as Trincão is part of like the Minge cycle, so. Braga owns some percentage. Wolves apparently own a percentage. Barca will own a percentage. So us coming out with the majority of it, compared to how we're doing deals nowadays, I can't be mad at it. We're also helping a powerhouse in world football from staying afloat by giving them 10 million. So Barcelona was worried about us getting relegated. I'm more worried about Barcelona getting relegated into like the third division, like Belenenses in Portugal, or even in the Distritais, I should say. But yeah, I personally think it's a good deal. I don't know about you, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, it can't really go wrong with it, I suppose, because I don't think Barcelona are going to buy him back just because they've got so many good wingers. They've just signed Rafinha today, signed Ousmane Dembele to a contract extension today as well. Obviously, they've still got Ansu Fati, who's coming back from injury, and I'm sure La Masia has like 4 wingers ready to come up. So I don't see it being activated. However, Barcelona do have a history of buying players with buyback clauses. Gerard Deulofeu, I believe, was at Everton when they bought him back for about 10 million and then flipped him straight away. And the same with Denis Suarez, I believe, who was at Villarreal and they bought him back and then loaned him to Arsenal or sold him to Arsenal. So they do have a history of doing that. But I think it's a good move for all parties. The deal's not too bad, I think. 10 million, 50%. You know, obviously, we still have to give half whatever he goes for. Like if he becomes great, which he definitely has the potential to. But in overall, I think it's a great signing. Amorim clearly wanted him. Obviously, worked together at Braga before, so there's definitely already history between them two. But I just think 10 million. So first of all, it's 3 million for the season, which is good. It's pretty much nothing, and obviously the 7 million obligation. 10 million considering like Paulinho was like 17 and all of that stuff.
St. Just was around 9.5 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the market nowadays, right? These players don't go for cheap anymore.
Exactly. It's inflation. But to get a player from Barcelona, and he did play for Barcelona in his first season, was pretty decent from what I remember. To get
and
a player from
Barca. Sorry, they spent like a chunk of change on him as well. I think they bought him for like 25-30 million from Braga.
Yeah. And then and then he played a season, and then George Mendes got involved and loaded him out to Wolves. But he did have a pretty poor season at Wolves, but like all things considered. But I think definitely this is the club and the league especially to get him back on the right track. So I think it's a good deal for all parties. But the thing was with the deal, at one point it looked like it was about to fall through. So Trincao came to Lisbon wearing green on the streets of Lisbon, getting interviewed by CNN. And then it came out because he was supposed to be announced that day, and then it came out the following day that the deal was in limbo, and Barcelona were threatening to call him back because Sporting wanted to tinker with the deal after being agreed. But Barcelona did actually manage to agree with us and change it. So because it was supposed to be 50 million buyback in the first season, 17 in the second, and 20 million in the third. Now it's just set at 20 million. So it's better for us, but it looked like it wasn't going to happen for a sec, but finally glad to get our man. Next one. Fan favorite, I would say, Gonzalo Plata has been sold to Real Valladolid. 3 million up front for 50%, plus a 2 million for every 20 games he plays. Danny, what are your overall thoughts on the player and on the deal itself?
Yeah, he's a talented player. But if you look like to our squad, I was even telling this to my dad the other day, even with Trincão coming, is we already have a shitload of wingers as it is, right? We have Trincão, Rochinha, Fatawu, which we seen him play at left wing back yesterday, and I wasn't entirely convinced there. But that pace is scary. I think he should be. I think he's more of a winger, at least in my eyes. Anyways, Tabata, we have Pot. We have one more that I'm forgetting. Edwards, thank you. So having Plata there is it's just there's too many players now at this point. It's a shame because the kid is talented. The kid, I won't say single-handedly, but he's a big reason as to why Ecuador even is in this World Cup this year. But the deal itself isn't that bad. He's had his off-field troubles. He's had an okay loan at Valladolid. I mean, their best player by far, but they did get promoted, correct?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
They got promoted, so from a playoff, now that I remember. So they'll need the help. It's a good deal. I think we could have gotten maybe more for him, but the market is what the market is, so I can't be mad at that. And plus, we can get another 2 mil for every 20 games he plays. I think he definitely hits 20 games this season easily. So unless he gets injured, of course, but that's just my opinion. So overall, a good deal, a sale that had to happen. If we're gonna give it like a letter grade or a grading, I'll give it like a 7, 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. The thing is with Valladolid as well, their owner is the original Ronaldo, R9. And he has stated in the press that he was impressed with Gonzalo Plata. And obviously Gonzalo Plata, South American kid, getting praise from someone like that is probably incredible to him. Like I can just imagine, and that's probably why he wanted to go back, because he didn't really play when Amorim came in. He came off the bench a few times in that first season, but definitely wasn't first, second, or even third option really, because Nuno Santos and Pot were so good in that season, and like you said, Tabata coming off the bench, and even Jovan in that season. I've seen people say that it's a bad deal because he'll be playing for like a Madrid or a Barcelona in a few years' time, which I mean I can see, but
it could be.
Like you can't just stockpile players. Like the thing with Luis Max, which we'll get on to in a bit, but I'm just going to bring it up now. Like everyone was like, "What a bad deal! He's so good, he's so that." Realistically, if we would have kept him, he would still be riding the bench, and that is a fact. Even if he went out on loan to Granada instead of a permanent, Lazio still would have came in and offered 10 million, and we got 5. So it's plus the 1 million from him being sold. So that's 6 million. 4 million difference isn't that much. But people were like saying, "Oh, it's such a bad deal. It's this." It's like you can't just stockpile players, otherwise it's not going to improve. And for Plata as well, you know, like I said, he wasn't a part of the plans. He's going to come back and just sit on the bench. Like we got 3 million out of him, and you know, like I said, 50%. So we still keep a good number if he does go somewhere else. But good luck to the kid. I don't like him after his drunk driving incident, to be fair. Like people can pass it as like attitude problems, but that's like one step above. Like attitude problems is like being moody at training, or like Slimani was. Like drink driving isn't an attitude problem. It's just being an idiot.
Stupid,
yeah. So hopefully that was just a sort of blip in his life. But you know, he's definitely got the talent to succeed, no doubt about it. But I think Valladolid is also the perfect place for him as well. You know, coming up, and like teams like that get like you've seen before, like lower league teams in Spain. A lot of them just transfer to other Spanish league teams, but that could be like a Valencia, Villarreal, something like that. So yeah,
like for example, Domingos Duarte today or yesterday, he went from Granada to oh my god, not Getafe, exactly. So you know, I see, I get the argument, because before Plata came to Sporting, he was linked with Barca, or he could have went to Barca. But after seeing him play, I don't see him as a Barca player just yet. But he is young. Who knows, right? But the fact of the matter is, it's like you said, we can't keep stockpiling these players, because one, we paid a fee for Plata, and two, we might as well cash in on him now. I mean, we've cashed in on better players. You know, we're talking about Barcelona. I don't see Plata being half the player Rafinha is, and we cashed in on him, and we got little to not. We got like 7 million for him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now he's there for 60. So.
I think we sold him for 18 actually for Rafinha. I think we made even. Cause how much did we buy him for? I think we bought it for 8 and we sold him for like 18, right?
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of then. Let me double check the transfer market.
But I was just going to say as well, going through player by player, Gonzalo Plata is not better than, like you said, Pot, Nuno Santos.
He's not even better than Rochinha, in my personal opinion. Yeah, we sold him for 18. My bad.
Yeah. So for me, people saying that, you know, give him time. It's time he wasn't going to get at Sporting, especially now. He can be good. He's got the potential, but he definitely doesn't have it all now. But I'm sure he'll prove me wrong, because he's definitely got the potential. Every time I've watched him for Ecuador, he just looks like a totally different player. He looks like, I remember that one viral clip where he nutmegged James Rodriguez, and like I never saw him do that at Sporting. But
never.
But yeah. On to the next one. I was going to say that me and Chris have been very vocal of Jovan. I think you've been the most Jovan supporter out of the three. But he's been had a bid rejected from Olympiacos for 3 million. The exact same that Braga offered as well, which was rejected. Sporting are looking to get 5 million. What are your thoughts on Jovan, and what offer would you take? Would you accept the Olympiacos or Braga one?
No, I would accept 5 million at least. I mean, the last few years on this podcast, I've been saying I felt like Jovan was going to leave for 15 on like January, like a George Mendes deal. So the fact that he's now, it's even just 5. Listen, I think he's a good utility player, but the injuries have stunted his growth really, unfortunately, because there's a good player in him. I mean, he's had some great moments at Sporting. I don't have to remind everybody about the comeback against Porto in the Taça da Liga, as well as other moments, right? But that's the standout one for sure.
That's like the main one, yeah.
In my personal opinion, I still think he has a spot in this team. We don't have a backup striker. I see Jovan more. I think Jovan can play well centrally as opposed to on the wings, especially in the Mourinho system, seeing as his wingers tend to tuck in and stuff, and as the forwards have a bit more space to roam. But with that being said, I'm glad we're rejecting 3 million. I don't know if we're gonna ever get a 5 million euro bid, but especially if Braga is the one knocking on the door, we have to upcharge them. Like there's no other. They're still there or thereabout with not even, I won't say competing with us against the league, but they can easily steal points like they did this season, and screw us over from winning the league. So same way, if they want our top players, which I don't, or not top players, but they want our good youngsters, which I don't doubt them from wanting it. They should. I mean, they have a history of Yuri and all of these other players. We charge them as much as we can get. They just sold Camero for 20 mil. They have the money now. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's time for him to go, unfortunately. But I still think he has a spot on the team, I think. But
yeah. I disagree. I agree with what you were saying at the start. You said the injuries have hampered him, and definitely the one thing I remember about him the most, apart from that Porto game, was during the first, like the end of the first COVID season. So like when it stopped halfway through. Do you know how they bring out the bubble Lakers and the bubble LeBron? It was
bubble Jovan was fire, bro.
Banging in free kicks, and
That's
he was
what I'm saying.
He literally replaced Bruno Fernandes. Everyone was like the new Bruno. And then yeah, he just can't.
But then it died off. He was like bubble Jovan for like 5 games, maybe 5-6 games.
Yeah, unfortunately. The first few under Amorim, we were like, he's unlocked him. But then yeah, injuries and fitness. I don't know what it is. If he doesn't train enough, or he doesn't recover enough, or maybe it's just genetics. It does happen to some players that they just. I think Abu Diaby was one for Arsenal who just kept getting injured, even though he did so much rehab and so much work that it was just in his genetics that he couldn't stay fit. But the thing is, I personally would accept 3 just because he is in that last year of his contract. It's either you accept 3 million or get nothing. And we own 100% of Jovan as well because he comes from the academy. So it's not like a 50% or 20% goes to like another Portuguese league team. We get all of it. And, 3 million, I guess, pays someone's wages because I don't think we're buying anymore. But yeah, I would personally accept the offer from Olympiacos. I know Besiktas are interested as well. But I agree with you saying he shouldn't stay in our league because he definitely does have the potential to be a thorn in our side, especially to Braga. I think Braga can easily turn him around into a great player like they've done with, like you mentioned, Yuri. And even, to be fair, when they took Esgaio from us as well, he was good for Braga. Like, I know he wasn't great, but it's definitely good for them.
He was really good for Braga.
And playing against Esgaio as well, I just remember he always seemed like he had a point to prove against us. And I can just imagine Jovan doing the same. And the thing about Jovan, he's quick. And apart from St. Just, our centre-backs aren't very, to be honest. So, yeah, I would personally accept the 3 million for Olympiacos, but not for Braga. It's confirmed that Jovan does want to go abroad as well. So wherever he wants to go to Greece or, there was England links at the end of that bubble season, so to speak, and at the end of the 2020, when we won the league, 2021 season as well. Apparently, we rejected bids of 10, 11 because we wanted 15. And people, again, have been saying, oh, last year offer you rejected 15, now you want 5. It's like, yeah, that's how contracts work. Like, they run out and they decrease in value and injuries and fitness and everything that goes on. So, again, yeah, I mean, I do like Jovan, but I think we can do better than him. And I think we've got better wingers, strikers, maybe not, but I think we could, if we sold Jovan right for 3 million or 4 million, I think we could probably get a decent striker in for that amount, someone to come off the bench, even if it's like a loan. But like Trink, that pays for Trincão's loan, which is 3 million. So if we got 3 million from Olympiacos, it's done. We've paid off Trincão. But yeah, that was a record source, by the way. Just to point that out. And lastly, saddest news, I suppose, was Braganza's ACL injury. Torn ACL is going to be out for up to 6 months, could be longer depending on recovery time. First of all, what are your thoughts on the injury, and do you think Sporting should replace him? Not replace him, but get a replacement for.
Get a replacement. No. I know what you mean. I think we should, but I think the injury is tough, right? ACL is always a tough one to come back from. He's basically, if he comes back, it's going to be like around, well, just prior, like maybe May of next season, right? Yeah. So that's going to be the end of the season, basically. But more importantly, I do think we should replace him. I think I tweeted it right after the injury. We should now go all in on Al-Musrati. And I say that because most people were saying, you know, our midfield would have been Mateus Nunes and Ugarte anyways. And after seeing Morita yesterday, I don't think he's that. I do see a player in him. I was a bit more impressed than what I was seeing before and what my original thoughts were. But with that being said, I don't think he would fill in a Bragança role perfectly either. With Bragança, I think there would have been a lot more rotation between the three. I wouldn't have been surprised if we would see a midfield of Mateus Nunes and Bragança a lot more, because let's not forget, Ugarte didn't even, I mean, he played a lot of games, but it wasn't like he was a shoe-in either. And I think that would have continued on this season. I only say Al-Musrati because I think, you know, Mateus Nunes without an Al-Musrati, or even Ugarte and Al-Musrati, Morita and Al-Musrati would have really solidified our midfield and really, you know, we have to go for the title this season. Yeah. No, I mean, we always have to go for the title. Don't get me wrong, but this season in particular, because there's no Amorim next season. Let's get this clear. I don't think there's going to be Amorim next season. He's been flirting with, or there's been murmurs of, you know, other teams are interested, but I want to stick it through with Sporting. I might get sacked if I do that, but that's the risk I'm going to take. Let's be real. He's sticking it out. He has, I think, 2 more years left on his contract, maybe 3. He's sticking it out, and then we're gonna sell him, or we're gonna get compensated for him, and he's gonna leave through the big doors. I say all of that to say, this has to be the season we go for it. With Bragança out, we have to find some sort of replacement, because now there's only 3 players, really. I mean, I know we can consider Sugu and the kid who played yesterday, Mateus Fernandes, I think his name was.
Yeah.
So, you know, but in essence, it's really only 3 players for 2 positions. And if one player gets injured, then we're playing the kids. And I'm not saying I don't trust the Sugu. I'm not saying I didn't like Mateus Fernandes from what I seen yesterday. He was an all right player. I'm not saying he's bad. But for us to compete with the league, for us to compete with Porto, whose midfield is Stakio, Uribe, I'm forgetting other players. Benfica, they have Weigl. They just got Enzo Fernandez. Benfica is going to be a really good team this year, I think. For us to compete with them, we need a signing, and we need one in midfield. I mean, I would argue we would still need another signing up top as well, but I digress. Long story short, we need to replace Bragança, in my opinion.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you, and this is sort of wishful thinking, I suppose, but from what I saw when Tabata played against Man City in the away leg, he played as a number 8. And I think he has definitely got the potential to play there more often. He's looking for more game time, and I think he'll be the perfect, when you need some creativity and some pace, Tabata's perfect to bring on. He's great on the ball as well. He's quite physical for his size as well. I think if you look at our team, and like, I don't know how, like you say, Al-Musrati, I think that's going to be expensive. I don't think we're going to get a good centre mid to come in who isn't expensive. And the issue is, if we do bring in someone like Al-Musrati, then who is holding the bench? And if it is rotation, is Al-Musrati, is Mateus, is Ugarte going to be happy with riding the bench, coming off the bench? And especially for like team dynamics as well, you pretty much want the 2 centre mids for the whole season. Obviously, I know there's rotation in there, but I don't know. It's difficult. I did see a tweet that made me laugh. It was like, now that Bragança's injured, who's going to come off the bench in the 86th minute against Bacchus Ferreira?
I seen that.
It's true, to be fair, because Bragança did not get barely any minutes last season.
That's true.
So part of me thinks it's a bit of an overreaction, because even like when Mateus or Pellegrini got suspended, it was Ugarte coming in. And now we've got Morita. I guarantee he probably would have got more minutes than Bragança as well. Just saying about Amorim, I guess, doesn't really trust him, which is weird because he was his first sort of major integration. I know, obviously, Matheus was there from the academy because people were calling for Bragança to start for like the last 2 years. He got loaned out to Estoril and I think Ferenc before that. Yeah, and he killed it at both loan spells, I think. So I don't know, but wishing my best recoveries to Bragança. I know it's a difficult injury. I think Battaglia had the same one, and he was a completely different player after that. When you think about playing midfield, they pretty much have to be all over the pitch as well. They never stop running and using their legs and their feet and stuff. So
let me just say, the only thing I don't think of, I forgot Tabata can also play as the 8. I don't comparing them to is, I think Bragança is underrated when it comes to his defensive work. I think he knows how to win the ball really well. So I don't think Tabata can replace Bragança in that sense, but I do see what you're saying. When it comes to more creativity like Bragança can bring and being technically good, you're right. I do see Tabata maybe taking that spot. I'm still under the impression we're going to sell him, but that's another story. I had a point in mind that I forgot. I had a part 2 to that.
I was just going to say that. That when you say about defensive ability, but from what I remember from last season, Bragança always came on when we were losing or drawing to try and get some creativity. Even in the season that John Mario was still here, when we needed a goal, it was Bragança who came on, and that's why I think maybe we could do that with Tabata instead.
But he wasn't always direct. I mean, listen, I think I started that propaganda that every time Bragança came on, we won the year we won the league.
Yeah.
But he wasn't always directly involved. It just so happened
that
of course
they would
sub him on at the end and we win the game. I had a really good point that I wanted to make that now I cannot remember for the life of me. Anyways, if it comes to me, I'll bring it up.
yeah, that's fine. Just bring it up if you remember it. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for the top stories. Do you want to go ahead and take the record news?
Can I actually just mention one more kind of top story that we mentioned on it, but I'll give my opinion on it real quick. It's the Luis Max to Lazio.
Okay.
I do hear what you're saying, and I do agree. We're technically making 6 mil off of him. But I think if we loaned him out last season, I know that maybe wasn't an option. We're talking hypothetical here. But if we maybe loaned him out last season, I think he's starter this season. Because, and I think we both mentioned it, even last season, Adan looked shaky at times. And there was many times where all you have to do is be face-to-face with Adan. If you chip it, he's falling to the floor every single time. And Max, I don't see doing that. Admittedly, I didn't see too much of him at Granada, but the clips that I've seen and the enough that I've seen from him, he obviously had a huge growth in him. I mean, he's probably 10 years younger than Adan. And we would have, I think, benefited more by keeping him, maybe loaning him out last season, even if we loan him out this season, which I don't think we would have. I think we would have had him as a starter if we had loaned him out last season. But so I do get the frustration on other Sportingistas side. But at the same time, I do see your point, because what's the point on keeping him if, that's just my opinion, but Amorim might not see it the same way. Amorim might be riding with Adan until Adan's wheels fall off. I'm just saying, I'm looking at Franco now. I'm not convinced that he's going to take over Adan's spot. João Virginia, I wasn't convinced either. I'm only worried now at after Adan, who maybe has another 2 seasons, let's say. Even 2 seasons is being optimistic because I've already seen a downturn on him, but 2 more seasons, Luis Max would have done huge for us. And sure, he was sold for 10. I think we could have sold him for more had he been our number 1. We could have even had a new and improved Rui Patricio. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but the way I see it anyway, if we were to, let's say we loaned him out to Granada instead, and Lazio came back to us and offered us 10 million, I think it would be accepted either way, and he wouldn't have even had that chance to overtake Adan.
Fair.
Just because I don't think we're really gonna not accept 10 million for at that point would be a backup goalkeeper. I know he's probably gonna do well at Lazio, and then let's say go to, I don't know.
He was linked to Barca. Let's just say Barca.
Yeah, Barca, Real Madrid, and he'll go for 20, 30 million. But like I said, I think in all fairness to the kid as well, it wasn't fair on him to keep riding the bench. And he needed to get that experience regardless. And we could have been sitting here and saying, Max has come back, went to Granada, they got relegated, and he was poor. Like, so many things could have happened, but I think in the end it was a good move for all parties at that time. Obviously, I know we probably could have got more of him, but I still think it was fair to the kid who has been, I think it was at Sporting since he was like 13, 14. So yeah, I'm sure he'll do well, and I think he's coming to get that national team spot as well, especially in a team like Lazio. He's got to be the Portuguese like number 2, number 3. So
at the very least,
some caps in there. Yeah,
agreed. All right, so Record announcing that we're no longer interested in Samuel Lino, which makes sense. I mean, we already have enough wingers as it is. Camacho, as we've been mentioning for the last few, but finally official at Arish at Greece. Is that a 3 or 5? That's a 3 million.
3 million right? Buy fee, yeah.
Not bad.
Scored and assisted on his debut as well against the Olympiacos.
Also, agreed. Yep. Also had a horrible header in front of the goal. I don't know if anybody caught that.
Yeah, I did.
But so then Rafael Fernandes signs for Roca. Sporting keeps 50%. We mentioned Sporting get 250K from Domingos Duarte going to Getafe today. Side note, Domingos Duarte, his Instagram is so he has a picture up with his girlfriend, I think. Have a look at his girlfriend's page. You'll find something interesting in there, guys, and girls, of course. Sporting get 1 mil. What is that?
1 million from Maxi going to Lazio.
Oh, Maxi, yes. Like we mentioned, Rodrigo Rego signs for FC Eindhoven. A lot of Sporting Academy players are going to Holland, actually, which is an interesting move, and I think good for them too. It's a competitive league, very similar to Portugal, to be fair. Slimani has COVID and has delayed his situation. Also posted a picture in the dark the other day, so Slimani watch is in full effect. Sporar, heavy linked to Red Star. I think even Sporar's agent came out the other day and was saying that he liked the move or something like that. So something to keep track of. I don't know if you want anything to say to that, Sam.
Yeah, his agent basically said that that there have been talks and Red Star want him, but they want him on loan, whereas Sporting want to get rid of him permanently because he's on such high wages, which the agent confirmed as well. But yeah, I think it's probably going to be a loan with an option to buy. And I don't know Red Star's finances, to be honest. I don't know what their record transfer fees are and stuff, but I think 3 million is a lot for them, or 4 million would be a lot for them.
They've been consistently in the Champions League or thereabouts, so maybe it won't be. But I think you're right. I think
Piccini also plays there at the moment, I believe.
He does, yeah, you're right. Which is crazy. Matilde Nunes, of course, will only leave for an offer of around 45 million, and he was linked to Chelsea. I'll bring this back. I feel like we mentioned it, but we'll mention it one more time. As the weeks go on, do you think he's leaving? I think I'm more secure than him staying.
Nah, he's gone. I still think he's going to go. I like I said, it's going to be like a Nuno Mendes thing. It's going to happen late August. Yeah. It always happens, not just for Sporting, but like a top Premier League team will panic. They'll get an injury or someone will be unfit. A good example of it, although it's not confirmed or anything, Thomas Partey could be an issue for Arsenal. I know they're not the same position, but I'm just saying, like, stuff can happen, injuries, fitness, whatever. Teams always start to panic the last sort of 3 days of the deadline. I can remember Chelsea bringing in Danny Drinkwater because they sort of panicked in the centre mid because I think I don't remember what happened, but they panicked for him.
Yeah, they did. But that was more of like the negotiations were constantly going. But yeah, you're right. And Sporting under Varandas loves the last minute deal.
Jesse Rodriguez, Balassi, and Fernando all on the same day, 3 wingers. Like, I mean,
Rafinha, Thierry, also sold on the same day when we got those 3. So,
yeah. All I see is a top team with money panicking, and they go, okay, how much do you want for him? And Varandas goes, okay, 40, 45. I know it says 45 here, but let's be honest, 40 plus 5 in objectives. Okay, we'll pay. Especially if the team gets off to a rough start, like a Liverpool or a Chelsea or an Arsenal or a Tottenham. Let's say if they lose the first 2 or 3 games they have, then they're going to start to panic and they're going to look to buy a player like Matheus. So I still think he's leaving, unless something drastic happens. I think he's still gone.
Fair enough. I still think he's staying because if they sell him, they might as well kiss the league goodbye. But another team that you didn't mention, I see Wolves. If Wolves are like last,
that's another one.
3-4 games, they'll definitely buy Matheus Nunes easily.
I think they've only signed one centre back so far as well, and their fans, from what we've seen in our mentions, are really unhappy with their sort of president or owner. I think they have owners, but they're very unhappy with him because George Mendes. Yeah, true. But yeah, even he's not doing work for them. We haven't seen any sort of Portuguese movement to their side. I know there was links to what's his name, João Palhinha, but obviously that didn't materialize. So yeah, I still think he probably will go to Wolves. But the thing is, he's not convinced by their project. But like I said, if a Chelsea or something come calling on the last day, then he's gone.
Yeah, probably. Eduardo Quaresma again will be loaned out. What's your opinions on that, Sam? What do you think?
It's a tough one because it's sort of similar to the Max situation because we could keep him for depth, but he's not going to improve or grow, and that's at the end of the day what we want, either for him to prove and grow to be a main team centre back or improve and grow so we can flip him to another team. I do think with Neto's age and Saint Just injury history, we probably should keep him around. And even Coates' injury history last year, that the knee he's always had a problem with, but last year seemed like it went up like 2 times what it used to be. And he also had I know he had COVID a few times, but let's just say a COVID outbreak does happen to Saint Just and Coates or like a Neto, then is Jose Marsa the one that's going to be ready for the call up? Or is a guy going to have to fill in a centre back like we saw so many times last year and was awful? Is Quaresma really as bad as Esgaio is at centre back?
Agreed.
That's my worry. And the rumours, I'll leave it till when we get on to the Abola news. But 3 Portuguese league team, if he went to any one of those 3, I'd be happy. Because last year, obviously, he went to Tondela. And I think everyone expected Tondela to do quite well because they had a new coach and they brought in a lot of good players. But obviously, they went down. If he goes somewhere to get his confidence back. But I've said the last, 2 years on this podcast now, he needs to get loaned out to another country. Because the whole thing that he has, the stigma with him is that he's immature. He doesn't take things seriously. Send him to Germany like they did to Tamar. Send him to Italy. Send him to the Championship in England or Spain. I know Spain is obviously quite similar to Portugal, but still out of his comfort zone. That's how I guess you grow as a player, and that's how Thiago Tomás is growing as a player. I've had my words about him as well, but you're looking, he's improving. He's scored against Bayern Munich out of all teams. So send him somewhere else that isn't in his comfort zone. I think he'd do well. What about you? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I agree. I do think we should keep him just. Unless we buy somebody, because like I've been saying, and you hit the nail right on the head. Like we don't have enough depth, and is he really that much worse than Esgaio? I think he's clearly better at center back than Esgaio. Because right now we only have 4. I mean, we have Neto, we have Inácio, Coates, and Saint Just.
I did forget about Matheus Reis as well.
Yes, you can put Matheus Reis there, but again, I'll repeat myself a million times. I still think Matheus Reis is more of a left back or a left wing back than as a center back, because even at center back, he pushes forward a lot and he'll still help us bring the ball forward, especially when we had Vinagre on the left, for example. Matheus Reis was the one that really pushed it forward. So to me, he's more of a left wing back. But okay, fine. Matheus Reis, that's 5. And then, you have Esgaio. I'm trying to look at Taça da Liga, Taça Portugal games. Who are we going to play? Are we going to still rely on Coates to play these games? As you said, with his knee injuries, are we still going to rely on Neto to play these games? Is Neto going to be a starter for us if one of these guys go down? I'm not saying Quaresma is better than Neto, definitely not. But if he's going to also have the same output that he had against Tondela, because let's also keep it real too. He played a few games for Tondela. He played maybe the majority of it, but there was times where he was benched too. And there was times, I mean, we make it seem like he had like a horrible season. He just played on a bad team. There was times against Benfica, for example. Yes, he had that one game where he gave them an own goal or he gave them a goal or something. He fucked up on something against Benfica. But before that, he was having a decent game against them also. So I think we've been a little too harsh on the kid. Maybe because our expectations were so up here when we first came to the team. I think Amorim got him at like 17.
Yeah,
and we were so impressed with how good
him and Mateo and Coates, I remember, was like Inacio wasn't even thought of for that time. I don't think he was even in the team, to be honest. But like, Eduardo Quaresma was a stud as well. He played great in those games. But then I think he injured his back or something, and then went downhill from there.
Quaresma has qualities at a center back that you don't really see, which is he's great on the ball. Maybe he's not as physical as Amorim likes, because as we can see, Amorim really likes tall center backs. I don't blame him. Don't get me wrong. Like, you have to win the aerial battles. But defensively, he's decent. He's pretty good, I'd say, Quaresma. And then on the ball, especially if we're looking to progress play, I think Quaresma is great on that. So maybe he's more of a midfielder, like a CDM. Maybe as he's growing, maybe we'll see him play more in that position. But I'm with you, Sam. I mean, if he's getting loaned out, let it be abroad. I think he'll learn more. And two, we should keep him. Mainly, we should keep him. I'm with you.
Just one more thing I want to add. Like, if Jose Marsa is the answer, which he could be, I'm happy. I'm sort of happy to let Eduardo Quaresma go. But what we saw last season was Marsa on the bench all the time, and he made one appearance, which was the last game of the season, for no reason. Like, surely Marsa isn't that bad. Amorim signed it. Like, he was in La Masia for a number of years, and we signed him from there. So if that's the case, that Marsa is going to be that sort of Taça da Liga, Taça de Portugal centre-back option, that's fine. But Amorim in pre-season yesterday against that Belgian team, he started Nazinho as centre-back. Like,
exactly.
Are you saying, like, he didn't even bring Quaresma to the Algarve, like, but you'd rather play Nazinho as centre-back?
Yeah.
That's dumb to me. That is stupid. I get not liking the kid, but why Nazinho?
Yeah. That's the most frustrating thing as well with Marsa that I was going to mention. It's not even that we can even get a lick of him on like preseason. Like, aside from maybe it's like Sporting B games, I have yet to see Marsa do anything.
Yeah,
and I'm with you. I mean, Nazinho was a left back, and instead of playing him at left wing back, we played him center back. Fatawu is a winger. We played him at left wing back.
I get having versatility, which is fine, but like when you're forcing it so much, like Tabata can do it because he's a forward player, can play right, left, striker, and like number 8. But like, it's much different for defenders to play centre back, left back, right back, and even like wingers to be in a defensive position. But
agreed. Especially, and also, I think Nazinho used to be a winger too, so he's like a winger converted to wing back. It's not even like a defender, and as it is. But anyways, we'll go on to Abala. PSG saying that they're keeping Sarabia. Some murmurs of Sarabia potentially going. I don't believe those. I don't know the source, but there could be. There's a rumor today that Gonçalo Ramos was going to PSG for 30 million and a player, and Benfica were going to ask for Keylor Navas or Sarabia. I did say last season that Sarabia, I felt like Sarabia might go to Benfica because they have the financial capabilities for his contract. It's something as it's the last year. I also, on my FM saves, this is where I'm basing it off. My FM saves, like out of the 3 saves or 4 saves, 2 of them he went to Benfica. So, FM is really realistic at times. But
what
Sam,
makes it more interesting, I was just going to say, is Fabrizio Romano reported the original interest in Gonçalo Ramos. So that is a true fact that PSG are interested. There was nothing mentioned of a player, though. But I can definitely see the same way that they took Nuno Mendes from us being the same sort of thing that Paulo Sarabia. However, because they just signed David Neres, I think that if that rumor was true about Navas or Sarabia, as the Benfica manager, I would probably pick Navas because 1, he's a great goalkeeper. 2, he probably wants to be the number 1. Yeah, and they need one desperately. They have 2 average goalkeepers, no disrespect. But like, I think that's probably the one thing they're missing. They've had a great transfer window so far, but they still got the same 2 goalkeepers that, like, they're just not good enough, I don't think. So, but I could definitely see either move happening, to be honest. But definitely want to keep an eye out for.
Agreed. Like we mentioned, Giovanni wants to play abroad. Last Abala news, as we were talking about Quaresma, Santa Clara, Roca, Gil Vicente want Quaresma on loan. Like we said, I think me and Sam both prefer him abroad. But these teams aren't a bad. Wouldn't want him on a Roca, but Gil Vicente, Santa Clara, I think are
Gil Vicente, because they're in Europe as well. I would take that.
Agreed. O Jogo Ilori is headed to Casa Pia on loan. Sometimes I forget we have Ilori. Speaking of people I forget, Luis Felipe also wanted in Japan. I forgot about him too. What do you think, Sam? Do you think, even as we're talking backups, of course, only backups. I understand you're a Pauline lover. That's our striker. That is our striker. Would you mind
number 20 today, by the way, not number 21, number 20, which is strange.
Really?
Yeah, they changed his number. I don't know if it's for preseason, obviously, but
that's a weird change. At least give him number 9. Who's our number? Nobody has a 9, right?
I don't
remember.
I think Sporad didn't he? Right.
Right. Yeah, Sporad did. Yeah, you're right. Before Sporad, I know it was Acuna.
Yeah, Jovan took 10 last year. Now Marcelo has 10. I don't think anyone had it as far as I'm aware. But
anyways, Luis Felipe.
Nah, not for me.
As a backup.
No, obviously did well in Greece, but he didn't do great for Santa Clara when he was there. Again, he's one that came off like a really bad ACL injury. I don't think it was awful when he played, but I mean, he's not sporting quality, not someone you want for a title charge. You'd look at Porto's backup strikers, Benfica's backup strikers, and
exactly.
You put Luis Felipe is right at the bottom. I do agree with what you said before, which we definitely need another striker. For some reason, Amorim is sort of oblivious to it, or maybe he's got hope in Rodrigo Ribeiro, or maybe I put a poll up saying what would our front three be next season. I gave 4 different options to put Paulinho at striker in every one, because to be honest, he is going to start. And the amount of people that replied, I think we got 8 replies that took Paulinho out and put like Trincao up top, Edwards up top. So I mean, I doubt that's going to happen, but unless maybe Amorim brings I don't know if that Fawatu or what the guy's name is could play striker or something, unless he's got like a plan. But for now, it seems like it's going to be Paulinho and Rodrigo Ribeiro. So I don't know. And even
Chamiti, is that you say it? Chamiti or some shit like that. I was not impressed.
Bro, he's got like 5-star potential on FM. You've got to give him time.
No. I'm with you. FM, he's nasty. I'm not saying. Listen, FM, I love the kid. What I seen yesterday, but he's young. I think he's only like 17. So
yeah, he's
give him time.
And
he's not
signing a contract as well, which is good.
Yeah, good, which is good. Because there's a player there. He's also tall. I like lengthy fucking strikers as well. It's just going for a title charge. I'm with you, Sam. Even Rodrigo Ribeiro, we need somebody.
The only thing I think with that is if he turns into what João Felix did, where he first started coming off the bench for Benfica and scored loads of goals and started. Obviously, it's a very different comparison, and that João Felix is 1 in a million. But you never know.
And João Felix, you could tell the talent was there right away. It was just the stubbornness to start him, and then finally, when I think it was Vitória, might have either Vitória or Verissimo. Oh, was it Lage? You're right. It was Lage. Vitória was the one that wasn't playing him, or was coming off the bench. When things got hot, Vitória played him a bit more, then Lage really took over. You're right. But anyways, that we I think the world's seen that, or Portuguese Portuguese league fans saw the potential there. But I think I'm just desperate for another striker that I'm even considering Luis Felipe. Finally, Porro and Inácio would only leave for their release clauses, which if I'm not mistaken, is around 60 mil. So not bad.
Inácio's 45, and I believe Porro's is also the same.
45.
I think they're both 45. Porro's might even be 40. But yeah, again,
not bad.
I think Inácio is one to watch out before the end of the window as well, because at the end of the day, he's got a release clause, and his 45 million is not a lot to, let's say, Newcastle, Chelsea, and Arsenal. Yeah, and even Barcelona have got unlimited money apparently.
So. I don't know. That line of credit is going crazy right now.
I was watching someone do an FM save with them, and they were like 100 and something million in debt, and I was like, actually, I think it's like 600 million. So might be a good FM save to start next year as well, to try and get Barcelona out of debt. But yeah, I mean, I think definitely one to watch. Porro, I think safe. I don't think anyone's biting the bullet.
I think Ignacio is safe. Like the only few rumors we've heard is Newcastle, and that was a while ago. And they just bought the boy from Lille, Botman.
Yeah.
So
and United as well with the rumor apparently signing Lisandro Martinez instead. So
yeah, exactly.
I think he's safe again unless disaster strikes. And we forgot to mention as well with the Charisma deal. What if Inacio does get sold, and let's say Coates, St. Just, Neto, I suppose.
I'm sure we'll buy in that case, but I mean,
yeah, if it happens like on deadline day, they pay the release clause. We can't delay it because we said it. Yeah.
Anyways,
that's pretty much it. I know it seems like there wasn't a lot of Ebola and Jogo news, but that's because literally every story was Trincao. I promise you, every day update on Trincao, and all three papers had the same update, which was he's definitely joining, or he's about to join, or it's being announced today, or it's being announced tomorrow. So it was very difficult to find other news sources. So apology, this felt very, very short for like Ebola and Jogo, but I think we covered it with the top stories, I think.
And by the way, the number 9 that I can't believe we forgot, Islam Slimani.
Oh, of course, man.
I can't believe we forgot
Kevin had the shirt on as well when he did the podcast,
yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, what a man.
But anyway.
Yeah. That's it from us too. Hopefully we should be back sort of early next week to probably be a shorter, but to be honest, this could potentially be the last one. I don't see many transfer rumors coming in, to be honest.
Yeah.
Going out is a different story. But if there's like 3 stories going out, then
no point.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll bring back a podcast by next week or the week after anyways. So
yeah, I think we'll do a pre-season review, but make sure to follow us subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Twitter, Sporting160_EN. Thank you all for joining us, and peace.